imaginary play, if you look how your child is playing and how complex it is and how they interact with the other kids in their imaginary play, is a great predictor of how well they will problem solve, think outside the box, think dynamically as an adult. And it starts really young with imaginary play. So I wanted to start with what neurotypical children's imaginary play with and then will look like, and then we'll jump into what our neurodiverse children's imaginary play might look like and how we can build those skills and help them through their imaginary play. So the first thing is, like, between 1 and 3, kids don't really know how to imaginary play. They don't have that tool set yet, that set of tools, so they rely on us adults to help them. They prefer to play with older kids and adults because we help them build those skills for imaginary play. Skills like abstract thinking, that my box can also be my cell phone. Hello. They need to be taught that. They need to see that over and over again, having other objects represent other things. And it helps. Really, imaginary play isn't free time at all. It's actually really structured. It's where kids learn how to play roles as they play mommy and daddy and doctor, and they like to be in control because they don't have control in any other part of their life. So they feel like they're in control and they get to make decisions, and what does that feel like to make decisions? And it's how they use pretend play to wrap their head around things like sharing. I'm told I have to share. I'm told it's nice to share. I understand it feels good when I get to play with something that my friend is playing with, but this is how I practice sharing. This is how I practice doing these things that society tells me I need to do, or that, like, those social norms and cultural norms, and they learn to practice these things. And cooperative play, and when you bring other kids in, soon you start to see, like, at a really young age, you see them ordering each other around. I'm the mom, you're the dad. That's actually a big piece. They realize that you can't see inside their brain. They need to share what they're thinking with you. They're a little bit dictative about it, but they're like, hey dude, we're playing this thing, and they haven't been able to take someone else's perspective and work your ideas in. But they're like, I have this play idea, and younger kids will often go along with it because they don't have the tools yet. Okay, I'll be the baby. You say this, I do that, you do this, and it plays out in their head. And it plays out in real life, and that's kind of how kids play goes. And if you have some really great, like, preschool teachers, you'll find they don't step in when you have two kids clashing. You let them work them out until it gets to the point where you need to step in, until someone's going to get hurt or something is getting thrown, or, do you know what I mean? Like, you let them, they learn how to navigate these things. Imaginary play is also where they pick up new language. You'll find cooperatively the kids will be playing, and one kid might have watched a show where the superhero puts on a cloak. And so next time they try out these new words in their play. So they try out, I'm putting on my cloak, and 3 other kids go, what? Oh, it's like a jacket, and they feel important, and they get to share that knowledge. And then 2 other kids are using, I'm putting on my cloak too. They've just learned a new word. So imaginary play is so important. It's where they learn how to wrap their head around those social norms and those things that are expected of them. It's how they organize their thoughts. It's how they self-regulate, how they practice sharing, how they practice doing all these things, so that when it comes up in real life, they're like, oh, right, this is what we do. So, and as kids get older, you'll see their imaginary play actually shifts from that dictatorship of do this, do that. You'll find that they actually will be like, oh, what do you think? And try to incorporate their friends and ideas and build on them. So it's more of a cooperative, dynamic play that moves and shifts. And that's that ability to think dynamically and move with a situation and adapt and flow with it. That all comes from imaginary play. So when we take a step back and we look at the kids on the spectrum, especially, you will find, and I kid you not, if you watch carefully enough, 9 times out of 10, the kid will watch a YouTube or a video and reenact those same things over and over and over again with their toys. They're not actually coming up with ideas on their own. So what we want to do is help them do that. Get in there and play and be like, oh, mess with the system. Ah, a tree fell. What are they going to do? Oh, man. And you might get some pushback for that, but start integrating tiny variations and silly things in just to break them out of that routine of this is what happens because this is the only way it can happen. We want to show them that it can go this way and the story could go that way and the story could go this way and we can change it and morph it. So we just start imaginary playing with them. And some kids will have a really hard time. I know a lot of kids who, this box of Lego could not be a cell phone. No, Kat, that's Lego. There's no way it can be a cell phone. Hello? And I have to do this 100 times, and they still are pretty adamant that that can't be a cell phone because it doesn't look like a cell phone. The cell phone toy could be a cell phone because it looks like a cell phone. But we want to just start introducing them to them. And eventually, I have a kid who picks up a banana now and says, "Hello, cat." So and then we can practice doing our phone number, 250-361-7720. Now we're learning numbers and other skills that go with it. And we can practice phone etiquette. Hello? Yes, she'll be right here. Hold on a minute. Mom! Or whatever that might be. And we practice ordering pizza. We have all these things come out of imaginary play. So kids on the spectrum, we just need to help them to expand their play skits or their play routines until they get so complicated and so all over the place that they just learn to adapt and be flexible, and then they can come up with their own ideas. Because I often do this with telling stories. The kids, I'm like, oh, let's make up a story about a unicorn. They only know the TV show. So we just start mixing things up. I'm like, well, what if it was Halloween? What would they do? And then we start brainstorming ideas and they pick some, we work with it. And we do this over and over and over again. Remember, this is not a short-term fix. We're playing the long game here, but by allowing them to practice being flexible, practice being silly, thinking outside the box, and just building all those neural pathways, it's going to help them later become better problem solvers, be more flexible, be able to adapt. Imaginary play is so important, and we can practice sharing, especially for autistic children, understanding emotions and where they come from and what they like. Imaginary play is so good for that. Oh, got in a car crash and I hurt my leg, and but now it feels better, and the doctor helped me, and I'm so grateful. And all these emotions that they help put words to, and help put words to feelings or feelings to words. So imaginary play is so important. If you can stop, be present, and just be mindful of where your child is in that development. Can they pick up a box and pretend it's a phone? Maybe we start there. Can they adapt to your ideas and then push those ideas further and further outside the box, where maybe the horses are going through the forest. Now he jumps over it, and now he's in the sky, and he's flying, and now he's in space. And allow them to adapt and change and go with it. And it might take a while. But imaginary play is so important for the development of dynamic thinking.